everyone, welcome to another video. So this week's video is a little bit different. I'm doing a Q&A, and if I'm honest, I've kind of been thinking about doing a Q&A for a while, but I've been a little bit nervous because there's always that fear that one, nobody will respond, and then two, that you'll just have really hard questions. Maybe this is just a me thing, but because I sort of call myself an illustrator, which I am an illustrator because I illustrate, therefore I'm an illustrator, but I get the impression sometimes that people think I'm more successful than I am, even with the Etsy shop stuff as well. So I've been kind of putting off doing a Q&A just because I think people are gonna ask me really hard questions, but I'm gonna face my fears. And we're actually going to start with one of these hard questions. So here we go. The battery's flashing at me already. That is not a good sign. Right, change the battery time. So I'm going to start with a kind of hard question, and I'm not going to put any overlay thingies on the screen. So in the words of original Fran, this is a visual podcast, but we have some pretty plants to look like. I've tried to make it kind of jungly in here. So the first question is, how did you get into illustration, and what was your job before you became a full-time illustrator? Yes, so like I said, this is kind of a really hard question for me because I think most people, when they think of an illustrator, they're maybe thinking of somebody who is getting commissions in editorial magazines and book illustration, and maybe advertising as well. Now this question is really hard for me because it just kind of brings up a whole load of imposter syndrome, because I call myself an illustrator, like I said, because I illustrate, but mainly the stuff that I'm doing is for my Etsy shop, or it's for my portfolio. I was watching Xanthi's video recently, and she was saying something similar to this, and basically if you write, you're a writer; if you run, you're a runner. So if you illustrate, you're an illustrator. But yes, in terms of career, I have not been very successful at being an illustrator commercially. And I do actually have my illustrations in a couple of magazines that I did a few years ago. But number one, I got this because I knew somebody who worked at the magazine. Number two, I'm ashamed to say that I started off doing these for free, and then when I did say that actually I needed to be paid for these, the pay wasn't actually that great, and they also paid me late as well. And it wasn't in the style of illustration that I wanted to do moving forward. So that wasn't, I can't say that I'm particularly proud of those illustrations. But yeah, so illustrating, in my experience, is definitely something that's hard to get into, and mainly I've been working on my portfolio and then also working on my shop and promoting myself. And I think there's just so many different parts to being an illustrator, and then there's the confidence to put yourself out there, which I'm slowly getting used to. I mean, I'm putting myself out here on YouTube, so I'm definitely a lot better than I was at showing my work. So I'll go through a phase where I'll contact a bunch of people, but yeah, and maybe I'll get a couple of replies from that, but so far I haven't got any work out of that. At the moment, I'm really enjoying focusing on my Etsy shop. So that side of my business, I think, is going fairly well, which is really nice. And the other thing that I'm working on is this picture book, which I've mentioned in a couple of vlogs. And this is kind of a personal project that I'm working on with somebody that I know. It will probably be self-published, but even though it's self-published, I still want to put all my effort into doing it and to make it a really amazing finished product, and something that's going to be great for my portfolio. So whilst I'm working on my Etsy shop and the children's book, I think for the moment I'm just going to kind of focus on those two things, but in the future I do want to try and get maybe some editorial work. But yeah, or some like children's picture book stuff from like actual publishers. That would be really exciting. So in answer to the question about what did I do before, and actually a couple of people have asked sort of job related questions. So I've had a couple of different jobs. I worked in a cinema, I worked in an office, and then most recently I worked in a primary school. I was a teaching assistant, which was, yeah, loads of fun. It was kind of challenging in some parts, but most of the kids were lovely. Occasionally they could be like little whatsits, but mostly it was like a really good job. I had a couple of people ask me if I went to art school, and Julia says, do you have any official qualifications in illustration, or are you self-taught? So I did an illustration degree, and prior to that I did an art foundation as well. I think in most art degrees you have to do either an art foundation or you do like a kind of year zero thing. So it was actually 4 years in total that I was at university. I kind of wish that there'd been more of a focus on like sort of business and what to do when you finish your degree, because after uni I just kind of wandered around not really knowing what I was doing, which I think talking to other people seems to be a lot of people's experience as well. But I really enjoyed my illustration degree. I made lots of friends there, and I loved the library. That was like one of my favourite places to go. I've done a video where I show like my old uni work, so I will have that video like linked on the screen if you want to go and watch it, and I'll also leave it in the description. I really miss my old art library. I had lots of questions about how me and Tom met. If you're new, Tom is my husband, and we have been together for 10 years. Married for 6 years, I think. Is that right? What year are we in? Yeah, so me and Tom actually met on a dating website. We chatted for a little bit and met up, and then we pretty much saw each other every single day. And before I know it, I had moved in with him. And it's kind of funny because Tom realised that I was living with him before I realised. And I was actually at uni at the time, and I was in halls. The people that I was living with, I didn't choose to live with them, and they used to have like really loud parties. They were very, very messy. I'm kind of messy myself, but they were like really messy. They also used to steal my cups. Tangent, but anyway. Partly that might have been why I ended up staying around Tom's house, because they literally had a party like every weekend. But yeah, and we were pretty much like inseparable, except I had like a holiday booked that I went on without him, but other than that we were like pretty much together every day for the last 10 years, so yeah. I also had a lot of questions about what our favourite board games are, because we have a lot of board games, and actually if you want to see me and Tom playing board games, I will also put that video on the screen and in the description. Favourite board games, I love Dixit, which technically you can't really play with 2 people, which is a shame. So I'm actually just looking at our shelf full of board games at the moment. We've been playing a lot of Patchwork at the moment, which is just a nice, like, kind of relaxing 2-player game. So sometimes it's nice to have a kind of mixture of like more like strategic games and like ones that kind of a little bit more easygoing. I really love Azul as well, and that has beautiful tiles. Actually, one of our favourite games we haven't played for a while, because that game is Pandemic, so hasn't kind of felt appropriate to play that game for a while, which is a shame because it's a really good game and like the narrative in it is amazing. Yeah, and I also love Ticket to Ride, which is a train game, but it's more exciting than it sounds. So next question is from Amy, and she says, how has lockdown been for you? And hope all your family are well. But yeah, this year like hasn't exactly been great, really, has it? The whole situation is obviously like stressful for a lot of people, and yeah, I sort of get a little bit down about it myself. In the UK, we're not technically in lockdown anymore, but like we're still not going out the house much. But prior to all of this stuff happening, I was mostly in the house anyway. So not much has changed in that regards. All my family are well, which is great, and we've been having like Zoom calls, and we've got like sort of family WhatsApp groups where we stay in touch as well. But yeah, I hope everyone's family is also well and safe. Okay, next we have like a sort of Etsy related question. So Miss Minna asks, what is your fave product you've ever made and why? So I'm definitely loving making enamel pins at the moment. Yeah, I think I'd have to say like the cats that I've made, the cat pins. I'm just really happy with how they've turned out. Yeah, there's something kind of exciting about drawing something and then having it like made into a different product. On the one hand, it's cool to like have prints of your drawings, but they're gonna look hopefully the same as your drawing, and similar with stickers, they're gonna look the same. But when you have a pin, there's kind of more of like a kind of transformation, and it's like really exciting to like see that in the flesh as it were. So yeah, enamel pins, and especially the cats that I've made, because I'm so proud of them. I think I've got most of the like hard questions done, so now we'll just hopefully have some easy questions. Read by Lindsay says, how did you learn to draw? This is kind of a tricky one as well, because I think drawing is something that, well, I think lots of kids draw when they're younger, and like I'm still learning how to draw. Sometimes I draw like my first draft and it will look terrible. So yeah, I kind of believe that you don't stop learning. Yeah, I always used to draw a lot when I was younger. I used to make things with my mum. We always used to make, we made like felt dolls, and then we also used to make paper dolls and like make the little clothes. So yeah, I always did lots of like creative projects, and I used to draw a lot with my granddad as well, and I would be copying things like out of books and like trying to get them like as accurate as possible. And then I took art at like GCSE and A-level, and we did like lots of still life drawing. Yeah, like sort of objects on a desk, and like we drew from them, and we went out and we did like lots of observational drawing. It's probably something that I should do more nowadays, because a lot of the time I will just kind of find like reference photos. Alice Artlands says, do you have a good evening routine? And I think the short answer to that is no. No, I do not. I think mostly my evening routine will be watch something on Netflix. At the moment we're rewatching Humans, which if you haven't seen it, I definitely recommend it. It is a British TV show, and it's basically like kind of the new technology is these robots that you can buy, and like they'll sort of do things for you around the house, and you can like have them as like your nanny or to like do all your cleaning or whatever. But there's a handful of these robots that have consciousness. It's very, very interesting, would definitely recommend it. But yes, I'm not doing any like meditating or anything that maybe I should. I quite like just watching a bit of TV, hanging out with Tom, and then going to bed. Yeah, it's kind of a good routine. Joanna Clay Design asks, what is the hardest thing about working for yourself? So there is so many hard things about working for yourself. Kind of all the self-doubt, and there's so many different kind of possible decisions that you could make and different routes that you could go in. So a lot of the time you sort of end up thinking, am I doing the right thing? Like I mentioned before, there's like so many different parts to being an illustrator, and you sort of think, if I focus too much on promoting, like am I focusing enough on doing my portfolio? Yeah, because you have to be the one in charge of deciding how you're going to spend all your time, and also you're the one deciding what projects you do. But yeah, I'm the one deciding what sort of products to do in my Etsy shop, and yeah, nothing is guaranteed. It could all go very, very wrong. There's no guarantee that things in my shop are gonna sell. Yeah, big old self-doubt is huge. and time management stuff, and yeah, just getting all the things done, staying motivated, which I try and do. But yeah, it's all tricky. Sorry, it's Gabe says, do you take all your orders to the post office or just drop some off in a post box? And hope you're doing well. And thank you very much. I'm really lucky because we have a post box that is literally just down the road, and all the things that I sell in my shop are small. So I sell pins and stickers and embroidered patches. But yeah, so all of those things I can pop in a post box, even the boxes that I've got that fits through the letter box. I do have a couple of items that are slightly bigger, but they're actually sold through print on demand, so they post them directly. Yes, I print all the labels and I just pop it in the post box, which is very nice. It's my little trip out to the post box. Read by Lindsay also asks, what are my favourite books? So in terms of like novels, I really like Matt Haig. I especially love How to Stop Time. I just think it's such an interesting book, and it's about this man who has this condition where he ages really, really slowly. So he's kind of immortal, and it's sort of looking at his life like throughout history. I've also got some like illustrated books that I love. I love Lost and Found by Oliver Jeffers. I love this, it's so cute, and it's got a penguin, which is one of my favourite animals. Then I really love this version of Beauty and the Beast, which this one is by Angela Barrett. But yeah, this is just absolutely beautiful. And I also really love this version of The Little Mermaid, and this is illustrated by Lisbeth, I think you pronounce it Zerga. And I also love Sean Tan's The Arrival. It's just so amazing, and that's really shiny. But yeah, just the imagination and the detail in this book is amazing. So Pestle Fox Studio asks, what is my favourite vegan sweet treat? And April, who is Monkey Min... I can't say your name, April. And April, who is Monkey Mince Acker, says, what is your favourite vegan go-to weeknight meal? So favourite vegan sweet treat? Ooh, there's so many good things. Yeah, I think I shared recently in a vlog, we tried some of those little goo pots. So some of the goo pots are vegan. They do like vegan cheesecake. That's so nice. They do like a lemon one and a salted caramel one and a few different flavours. Ben and Jerry's also do really nice vegan ice cream. Favourite vegan like go-to meal? We make a lot of chili, just because it's so easy. You just like bung a load of tins in and some spices. We also do risotto, so that should make Martin happy. But yeah, I love a mushroom risotto. Yeah, luckily as well we can make those recipes on the hob because our oven has actually broken at the moment. So yeah, we're just relying on cooking on the hob. So April also asked me, she says, a wise woman once asked me what my creative superpower would be. I'm returning the favour. So April did a Q&A, which was partly what kind of gave me a little push to do my own Q&A, so thank you, April. In case you can't tell, the wise woman is me, apparently. So what would my creative superpower be? I really love time travel stories, so I think if I could kind of incorporate some kind of time travel sort of elements, maybe the ability to stop time until I had finished a drawing, that would be amazing. Then I could get all this art done, then I'd have like loads of extra time to like do some housework or play some board games or read or like take a bath and like do other things as well. Oh, and maybe also to like turn back time if I was doing a pencil illustration and I just messed it up. So if I could turn it back, kind of like an undo button, I guess, as well, like a real undo button, that would be kind of cool. I ended up with so many questions for like, I was really thinking nobody was going to ask me anything. Phoebe from Honey Bunch of Onion Tops says, do you plan on doing more mugs with different designs? I would be very, very keen. Oh, I've added an extra very, very keen. Thank you, Phoebe. Yeah, I would really love to do some more mugs. I've made mugs so far with like print-on-demand companies. So I've got the mugs that I have made so far. This one is from Printful. I really love this. This is sort of like a fairy in the garden, and a little washing line. And then I did this mug, which is like a kind of spooky autumnal mug with like little ghosts wearing scarves, little ghost couples. And then I've got this mug, which is a very kind of Christmassy enamel mug. I definitely do want to make more mugs. I've been kind of thinking about mugs like for a while, because on the one hand I'd quite like to get like a mug press and sort of do like the sublimation printing stuff. But yeah, there's also this company called Amalco, which I absolutely love, and I'm so in love with the mugs that they make, but they're very expensive. It'd be a huge investment if I wanted to go down that route, but it's kind of like a dream for the future to maybe do one of their enamel mugs, because they're absolutely beautiful, the amount of detail they have in them. I think I will be making some more mugs in the future, maybe sticking to like the print on demand for now, but yeah, we will see. Chronicle of Felon says, how's the print on demand going? Is it Printful or Printify, and is it easy to set up, and any issues? Yes, I'm using Printful at the moment. Mostly there aren't any issues. Yeah, so on the whole, print on demand is very easy to use. Mostly I sell more of my own products than the print on demand, but it's quite nice to have print on demand to like try some different products out. I haven't had too many issues, although last Christmas there were like a few orders that I had that just took so long, because I think obviously Christmas is like quite a busy period. If you watched my like Vlogmas videos, I did try and do like an embroidered hat, and yeah, I'm not gonna try that again, because I've realized embroidered hats are like really complicated. Also at the moment, like with the whole COVID-19 thing, some print on demand companies are running a little bit slower, and I think the postal service in general is running a little bit slower as well. But yeah, if you want to try like a print on demand company out, I'd say definitely go for it, because you can test lots of different products out, and you're not having like a big investment or all the stock in your bedroom. So yeah, it's definitely worth having a go at it. So I had a couple of questions about inspiration. What's some of your inspiration when it comes to designing products, and also how are you? Yeah, so with my Etsy shop, I've been kind of focusing on like whimsical and cozy. That's my kind of like go-to things, because obviously there's so many different things that I could, like different themes and stuff I could try, but I think if I kind of focus on like whimsical and cozy, yeah, so if I come up with a new product idea, I just kind of think, does it fit in that kind of whimsical cozy sort of side? But yeah, and in terms of like what inspires me, like growing up I loved reading like The Borrowers. I've always loved kind of like magic and like fairy tales. I love kind of cozy things. I'm definitely a homebody. I love staying in, like playing board games and just being kind of generally cozy, drinking cups of tea. I really like it when it's colder, because then I get to put on like a big woolly jumper and like blankets and hot water bottles and everything. So Julia, who is by Gem Designs, also asks, how does your style now differ from when you first started drawing? Well, when I first started drawing, I was a child, so it probably differs quite a bit. When I was at school, I sort of tried to do more kind of like a realistic drawing style, whereas now it's a lot more sort of simplified. I feel like my style is kind of like constantly evolving, and for ages I felt kind of bad because I felt like I didn't actually have a style. Yeah, so my style has gone through like several different phases. I remember at one point I was really into doing like photo manipulations and kind of like collage, like digital collages. Yeah, I was really into DeviantArt for a while, and there seemed to be like a huge craze for like kind of fantasy art. Yeah, so if you have a look at some of my old things on Instagram, I was still doing like coloured pencil stuff. I was doing like the outlines in like a fine liner, so I was doing like the fine liner first and then I was doing coloured pencil over the top. But yeah, so I was doing quite a lot of detail, like, but yeah, I went through a stage of doing these sort of circular drawings, and I went through a stage of doing, yeah, I did a couple of like park run drawings because yeah, I really love park run. I thought it'd be fun to kind of create like the sort of map but like in a kind of circle. Then I was having a go at ink because I discovered Inktober, and I've actually done an Inktober, a couple of Inktober videos, so I will leave them again on the screen and in the description if you want to go and check those out. But yeah, so the materials that I've used has changed quite a bit. Like I've tried digital art, I've tried using markers and ink, and I'm focusing now on doing coloured pencil illustration. I think another thing that has kind of changed with my illustration style is kind of like the topics that I've been drawing. I would draw a lot from other drawings, and so for example my Inktober stuff, I was drawing scenes from movies that kind of related to the Inktober, and then I went through a stage of drawing like my family photographs. Yeah, I really love old family photographs, but also I find it difficult to draw from my own head, and I think that's something that I'm definitely doing a lot more now. I'm coming up with my own compositions, and I'll still get like reference, but I kind of come up with the composition first, and then I'll like find some references to like help me with different poses or like how a particular thing looks like. I think my people look different because I'm not completely copying them. They look a bit more kind of simplified, a little bit more like cartoony than if I'm like actually drawing from like a photograph of somebody. So Beatrice asked, what do you like to draw the most and the least? And I think I had this question a couple of times as well. So what do I like to draw the most? I love drawing animals, I love drawing people, or like something that has like a kind of character to it. My least favourite thing, what do I not like drawing? I mean, I'm not very good at drawing hands, so maybe that, or maybe something that's just like very kind of like technical or something. So May Fairy says, what was the first thing you ever sold to non-family? And also, what is your favourite creation thus far? Yeah, so definitely my cat pins are my favourite thing. Yeah, the first thing that I sold to a non-family member was the forest animal Christmas cards that I did. And if you haven't seen my like journey of my tiny Etsy shop, again, I will leave that on like here and there and wherever. So the battery is like blinking at me and I've finished my cup of tea. Although I'm sorry if I did miss your question. Maybe I will do another one of these in the future. Thank you so much if you did ask some questions, and yeah, I hope you're all having a wonderful day, a wonderful week. I'm sending you lots and lots of love, and I will see you in the next video, which will be another studio vlog. And yeah, I will see you soon. Okay, bye. Rearranging the plants. Oh. Can you see me? Or can you just see plants? Is that a good shot?
Thank you for coming. I know that you're trying to do anything to make me smile.